Hi y'all, Dr. B here. How y'all doing today? So I'm not the best when it comes down to social media, making videos, doing all of that stuff. I'm not the best at it. But um I'm working with someone who's helping me with my marketing. And she said to me, "You have to start somewhere. It has nothing to do with being the best at anything. You just have to start." And so I'm starting in my comfort zone. So I'm currently preparing to get some stuff done for Juneteenth because I'm going to be selling pieces there and so on, t-shirts, dresses, and so on, all printed. And I made an error. I want to show you right here. And so I'm trying to fix the mistake that I made. And isn't that life though? Every time we have done something or something happens to us in life, we try to fix it and make it better. But in me fixing this and trying to pull up the art pieces, I want you to look. There are so many different remnants here that you can see. The fabric, if you look closely, is kind of raveling, kind of popping up. It's pilling, for a bit of a word, right? So when you have polyester and cotton blends, right? When you have less cotton in there, it tends to pill. So this is pilling. And that's why it looks like that. Like, it is evident that something was there. And I look at life when we go through life and the things that we encounter in life. And our story shows us or shows everybody else that something happened, that something was there, that we went through something in our lives, that we encountered some level of trauma, some level of struggle. And when I think back on my life, because I can only speak about my story, right? To be transparent and honest, because that's what God wants, right? I don't classify myself as a Christian because that is entangled in too many bullshit. I'm a servant of the Most High God. His daughter, his queen is everything. And that's how I put myself. And so for me, I believe that God has called many of us who are open and transparent and is willing to speak and share what we have gone through. So if you haven't picked up on it yet, I'm from the islands. I'm from Jamaica, born and bred, right? And when I was growing up as a child, my biggest thing was to always come to America because you watch TV, you see all of these white people, black people, you see the Hispanic, you see all of these people, and you're wondering how am I here and they are there as a child. And then the Cosby came out and I was so in love with that show, just to see black people on the TV because we grew up on seeing on mainly white people on the screen, unless you're watching our shows that are created in Jamaica. So I always wanted to be here. And when I finally got here, it was challenging, really challenging for me. Um, I had I already had a life back home, but when I came here, that life didn't matter. I was in university, had my own business, and all of that. But when I came here, in order to survive at the beginning of everything, I had to clean hotels. And at the time I was cleaning these hotels, it was like $7.50 per room, right? That's not much. That at that time back in 2012, 13, that's not much for anybody. I've never really seen majority Americans or white Americans cleaning hotels. It's always black immigrants or people of color from different countries. And I said to myself, one of my biggest goals was to get my kids here because I don't believe in people taking care of your kids if you're alive and well. You need to do it unless something arises and you're not able to. So I worked assiduously for 1 year and I put my pedal to the wheel, saved my money, got myself a lawyer and all of that. But to backtrack a bit, before all of that transpired, I ended up getting married here. No, just for clarity, not for a green card. Because I know how most persons are. And the first inclination, because I'm an immigrant, it's no, no, honey, not for a green card. This is someone I thought had loved me. I thought I was ready to be loved. And I was looking, for the opportunity of finally feeling like I belong somewhere or belong with someone. In the process of that, I really thought that I had met the one. And while this person had told me their past about being a drug addict and stuff like that, sometimes as women, we think we can change people. We think you can change the trajectory of life, make this man better for us, and whatever the situation might be. And to be honest, it was good at the beginning stages of everything. It was really good. I never had to ask for anything. He knew what he needed to do as a man, and he got it done. And after a while, things started changing. One of the biggest things he wanted to do was to move away from the hood, because, he said that if I move far away, I don't have to come back to seeing the same people and thing. Misconception. It's a misconception, right? I've always said, if you want to change the trajectory of your life, I believe in these 3 nouns: the people, places, and things, right? But I also believe in this: you have to change your mindset. And so he changed the people, places, and things, but that wasn't sufficient, because the mindset that got him acclimated to the same people, places, and things were always there. And so the relationship got abusive. And I was never one to just sit down and allow anybody to talk to me a particular way. Right? I don't like disrespect. I'm not gonna lie. I do give it, and I have given it. But in this relationship, it was never like that. And so it escalated into bigger things. And I remember one day or one night, I don't actually remember what transpired. I really don't. I think I was lying down in the bed, and he was telling me that I have to leave, right? I have to leave. And I said, I'm not leaving. I'm not leaving. Anybody's going to leave, it's going to be you. And he drew me off the bed, started choking the hell out of me, scratched up my skin, and told me that he was going to kill me. So how I got him off of me, I told him I was going to call the police. So the woman in me, I had no family here. The only family I knew was his family. And he was so good. What did he do? He excommunicated me from his family. Right? So his family already had a perception of me, and basically was told a lot of lies by him. So they didn't talk to me. His friends didn't talk to me either. And eventually, things got worse. I didn't call the police that night, because he was like, oh, if you do, they're going to take everything from me. They're going to this, they're going to that, they're going to whatever the situation might be. And I was like, all right, I'm just not going to do it. The biggest mistake I've ever made. The next day, I went to work, came back in the night. Guess who was at my door? A police officer, because he had left. The police officer came in and served me, and said, served me a PFA, telling me that, this person my husband has served me, and I have to, leave and whatever. Mind you, I had nowhere to go. And he knew this, and he capitalized on it. Nowhere to go. And then I ended up quitting cleaning, because I was just so tired of cleaning people's mess, and I had nowhere to go. So I called him. I said to the officer, but he's the one that abused me. But I'm realizing that he knew something I didn't. The person who calls first is the one that gets the privilege. And so he knew that. right? And he was like, always like, I don't want, don't call the police, you know, I'm not about the police and whatever the situation is. But this dude was all about police, and I'll tell you some more about that as I progress. And so as time that day, you know, I reached out to a friend of mine, and I was so broken. This man called the cops on me, and I went and I stayed with one of my friends, and he said to me, "Listen, Amila, take my foolish advice. If you do not nip this in the bud and go get a PFA on him, he is going to always try to control your life. Never wanted to do that, because this is me saying, oh, I love this man. I want this to work, because I was married before, and I didn't want that to follow me. But you see, sometimes it's always best to walk away from things, and more importantly, to wait on God. And so I went and I got the PFA, and he was now no longer allowed in my space. So we went to court, and whatever the situation might be, and he was upset. I remember his friend saying to me, you shouldn't have called the police on a black man, whatever the situation is. But a black man could have beaten my ass. You don't care, because you could get money from him whenever you want something to borrow, and he is your friend. I'm nobody, because, you know, I am the immigrant here. I'm the this, I'm the that, and whatever the situation is. But I started to wise up, and I started to see these people for who they were. And eventually he, you know, I decided that let's work on this. And he was like, get the PFA off and whatever the situation is. Never did that. I might have been dumb, but I wasn't that dumb. So it ended up that the judge had given me, I told the judge I wasn't taking anything. I just wanted to leave and just get the divorce. This dude told the judge so many different lies about me, telling them that I came there to get a green card. Never was the conversation. He was the one that asked me to marry him. I didn't pursue him. He pursued me. Never mentioned it to him. After a while, he wanted to help me get my paperwork. And it didn't even work out, because then he tried to control the narrative. And I say, you know what? It's okay. I'll figure this on out. And then after the abuse, I started to do my research, and I realized that I could file for myself, because I went through domestic abuse, which was under VAWA. And I'm saying to you, immigrant women, if you end up in a situation where you're married to an American, I don't care what it is or who it is, make sure that you do your research, because you can file for your own citizenship under VAWA, but you have to make sure that you have supportive evidence. You get your PFA, then you try to get connected with a shelter, then you try to get the resources that shelter has, whether it be a lawyer, whatever the situation might be, and then you start connecting yourself, or they will connect you to different resources that you can use. And these are different trails that you are creating in order to provide tangibility of proof when it's time for you to file for your citizenship under VAWA, Violence Against Women Act. Google that. And I did that by myself. I got myself a lawyer, saved my money, got myself a lawyer through the Women's Center and Shelter. Big up to them, shout out to them. And my divorce was handled through them as well. And all of that transpired, all of that took place, and I'm here today. And so I remember one day, to the meat of the matter, I wanted to kill myself, y'all. When I tell you that I was just so tired of life. I was tired of life. So tired. I just didn't want to live anymore. You know, I felt stupid. I felt dumb. I felt neglected. I felt used. You know, like I couldn't process. I could not process how could someone be so cruel to somebody that they said they love. But you see, sometimes as human beings, we try to do too much, because we feel like, especially women, we feel like we can change men and make them into who we want them to be. And that's not life. Only God can do that. And I remember when I planned my suicide, I was so depressed, y'all. And I applied to get some therapy from an organization. And can I tell you, to this day, I'm still on their list, and that's around 70 years now. And I remember where I lived, the traffic was always heavy on the main. And that's where I was going to do it. I was just going to walk out in the street and just get it done. Y'all, excuse me, this thing here in my mouth makes it so hard for me to speak. And that day I came from work. I stood there waiting for some cars to come, waiting for some vehicles to come, and it didn't happen. And if they did come, or they're passing, they were going so slow, even a turtle would have beaten them. And it was never like that. They're always speeding on that road. And I was there, and I started crying. I was like, I heard the voice of God said to me, "It is well." And I saw the faces of my children flash before me. And, at that point, I realized that God had more for me to do. And I said, God, what do you want me to do with what I have gone through? And so came the birth of holistic fashion therapy under Healing by Design. And that was in 2017 that I started working on this. All of that happened, was completed in 2016. 2017, I got the idea of doing this. God gave me that vision. And with that vision, I started to, do my little due diligence and research and stuff like that, and try to get things in perspective. Nothing happened. No launching, no nothing. And I was still there working on it. And I was like, God, why did you even give me this? And I don't see anything manifesting from it, and whatever the situation might be. So I started to really press God about it. And 2017, nothing. I went back to school in 2018 to do my master's. I did my master's in 8 months. So I finished getting that done within the same year. I believe, yes, in my memory somewhere right. And after I did my master's, I started applying for jobs, couldn't get any job. Y'all, it felt like instead of things getting better, it was getting worse. I couldn't get any jobs. Nobody would hire me. Didn't know what to do. 2018 to 2019, so I completed my master's. I went back to school to do my PhD in 2019. Still couldn't get any job. And I was like, God, what plans do you have for me to prosper me and not to harm me? Yo, talk to your girl, because I don't get this. It's like everything I tried was just not working. And I felt like I was at a huge standstill. So, I was there. See, I made another mistake again on here. But you know what? Life is what it is. You either move on, or you keep or you keep going, whichever way. So I'm gonna move on. And I kept going, and I decided that, you know what, I'm just gonna keep pushing, no matter how it seems, no matter what happens. I'm gonna keep pushing. So maintaining that mindset, I ended up finishing. Keep on applying. Nobody would take me on. Nobody would take me on. Nobody would hire me. Got a couple of interviews, no more than 4, and it just didn't sold. I was almost back at the point that I was before, because I couldn't understand, why am I not even getting a break, God? But God had a different plan. And so fast forward 2021 was the first time I launched the Holistic Fashion Therapy Program. So let me tell you a little bit about that. The program is designed to help Black women who have encountered some level of trauma after domestic violence to heal, to find the root cause of the trauma that they have experienced, and be able to create strategies and techniques that can help them through the process. We use art, fashion design, and then later on I added consciousness raising group to it. But these were all things. I loved fashion because my first degree is in fashion. So you always use what you know, right? You always use what you know. That's how God works. He doesn't give you something to do without you having the full knowledge of, or already having the tool. You always have the tool. And that's what I used, what I knew, what was in my hand. And I created a program. Now the program is not where I would want it to be right now. But I can definitely tell you it's not where it used to be. It's a beautiful, beautiful program where Black women who are underserved, disrespected, walked over in a community, in a society such as this, where we don't get what we duly deserve because of the color of our skin. If we speak, we are considered to be this. If we walk, if our confidence are extremely high, we are considered to be this. If our hair is blue, we're this, we're that, whatever the situation is. That's why the program was for these women, because there's not enough service out there that support Black women in the confines of their environment to make them comfortable, to make them feel good about who they are with people who understand it. So a Black girl created this Black program for these Black queens, and it has been successful. We graduated our second cohort on April 30th within this year. And I just wanted to share my story because you know what? Baby girl, let me tell you something. Every one of us have a story to tell. Every single one of us has a journey that we have been through. I don't know who you believe in or what you believe in, but the God that I serve is the only one who took me through this. Is the only one who prevented me from taking my life. So whatever I do is in honor of him. And when the Holy Spirit told me back then in 2017 that this program, 2017-18, the program needs to be free, I was like, what? So how am I going to benefit from this program? How am I going to do what I need to do? And, whatever the situation is. And I tell you this? The program is free to every participant that is qualified for the program. We do makeovers. We do mental health. We do a whole lot of stuff to get these women in a place where they're comfortable. I don't want you to go and check out my website, The Covering LLC, and see the work that we're doing. But I just want to encourage some of y'all that if we can, you can. And you will see me more creating videos, especially as it concerns some of the areas that we focus on in the program, like when it comes down to fashion, right? Understanding your body type. Because you see, everything is connected. You see, we are made up of three beings: our spiritual, our physical, and our emotional, right? And I'll get more in details with that. But I want you to understand that who you are, the things that you have done, does not define you. God has a plan for you. Jehovah has a plan for you. Jesus has a plan for you. Whatever name you wanna use, Jehovah Nisi, whatever you want to use, he has a plan for you. And I want you to understand that it's not the end. No matter what you have gone through, God can deliver you from it. You see, I'm not where I want to be, but I'm where I am where God want me to be. Because life is a learning process and a learning curve. As you go through it, there are things that you need to learn, change, adapt to, and whatever you need to do to get to where you need to get to. And so during that time, God had me create a couple of planners. So this one is called Boss Up Fashion Planner, where I go in depth about understanding who you are, understanding your body, understanding why you need to choose the right clothing for your body. Because it's not a physical, it's a spiritual mindset, right? And once you're good, you are able to be better. And I'm telling you, it has a whole lot of details in there. It's on Amazon for $35. Check it out or connect with me and I can ship you a copy. And one of my best journals that I've created is my Time to Get Equipped Lifted Warfare Prayer Journal. Listen, it's all about praying the word. Because sometimes we think that our words impact the enemy and it doesn't. So when you can apply scriptures to your situation, that's it. That is what works. And this is what this does. Pray the word. You can also get this on Amazon. So, and these are some of the things that God had me do within a time frame that I felt like I wasn't going to make it, right? I created all of these journals one time. This is my PhD planner. And I know it's kind of hard to see because it's upside down. But this is my PhD dissertation planner for those of us who decide to take that journey and need that assistance, that additional help. Because trust and believe you will. Unless you're a scholar like that, then girl, bye. But you will need something like this. And these are all the planners that God had me focus on while I'm building something else. You see, God has a plan for everything and in all things. And I'm a multifaceted person, right? So I'm a doctor, yes, honey. But I'm also a designer. And that's always in me. I'm also a stylist, a transformational stylist. I'm also a speaker. These are all things, all the different components of me. And so I go back to what is in your hands. Because whatever God has placed in you is what is in your hands. That you can manifest into something great and to do something great with. And that's all that is. So I'm up at 30 minutes. So this is the design I was creating. Free Black Queen, which is a summer dress. Can't see all of it, but you know what I'm saying? Free Black Queen. Keeping it all Jamaican colors and thing. But I'm just saying to you all, be transparent, be naked with yourself. And love you enough to make changes for you and nobody else. And in all things, put God first. Yes. A little kind of sexy on here, but don't watch it. Because, you know, we have work to do and have business to get done. But it was a pleasure speaking to you all. And I will see you soon. Thank you.